I better get myself back in my seat and make my mic live. We're going to have some fun today. Welcome in. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now in the CZ studios at the Patriot Mobile Command Center on the Patriot Mobile microphone. Greg and Dallas Tejas, how you doing today, man?
I'm not too bad. Here we are.
Here we are. You ready?
Yeah.
I just stood up on camera and showed my Greg Said That shirt with your mug on it, which I found today hanging up. I didn't realize I had it. A couple years ago, I couldn't have put it on.
Yeah.
Now it's fallen off me.
Yeah, it definitely is. With that picture you sent me with it, it looks like you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight over the last couple of years. Yeah. When your sugar's high, you got to do those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I figured you were just smoking crack.
No, but I saw Bill Maher's deal about the foreigners loving being in America, and one of the Swedes said that the ranch dressing was like crack, and he said, your crack must really suck. Yeah. So if that's the case. Anyway, let's get started, man. We're on all platforms, including Rumble. So you know you're not allowed to say that whole you can't do that.
Copywritten.
He's trademarked and copyright that thing.
He did.
And he enforces that, as he should.
I'll do it when he's dead.
Because it's his. You know, his estate will own it, and then they'll come after you, and estates are even worse. It'll do it. There he is.
It will.
There's Mr. Petty. There he is. We'll keep him up in the background. How you doing, Ryan? That one was for you, brother. It's good to see you.
We're getting the slap back.
Oh, he is getting some slap back? Oh, I don't hear him. Where is he? Where's Ryan?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he's there, but there's slap back coming in.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll get it fixed. It's a Thursday, guys. You know, it's a Friday for us, so just bear with us. I'll start when those guys get it worked out. Then I'll bring you in because, guys, it's been a historic week. But guess what? It gets historicer. Is that a word? It is now because we make up our own words here. It gets historicer. I love that. The Supreme Court, I talked about this briefly the other day. But now we're going to go into it in a little bit more detail, and more so even with Mr. Gottlieb on Sunday. But the U.S. Supreme Court, Court. Oh, do we have Ryan in? Ryan, are you good?
Yeah, Ryan's good now.
We're all good now. We figured out what was going on.
Okay, well, that's okay. You got to love it. Ryan, you're looking good. And you look good in that. You look good in that thumbnail too, man. Had to put that up there for you.
I love it. What do I got slinged over my shoulder there? I don't know. To figure that out. Yeah, that's perfect. It's a Florida ranch. I've got a gun slinged over my shoulder. That's awesome. And
Cove Pure Water Purifier sitting on the ranch next to you. Yours delivered, so I figured we'd go ahead and put that in the thumbnail, right?
I love it. Yeah.
So, Greg, the question is not how many cups of blackout coffee I had today. Ask Ryan how many cups of Cove Pure Water he's had today.
Well, Ryan, how many cups of Cove Pure Water did you have today?
Yeah, Ryan, tell us.
Look, I'm up to about 3 cups of water, and I used the water for a protein shake earlier. So that's about 4 cups of water.
Use coconut juice for that.
Protein shake. A protein shake. I love it. Just eat a bar, you know. You know what I got here? This is just true. I'll hold it up for people can see it. Play the theater of the mind. And Greg, you might like these. I haven't had one of these in years. I was at the grocery store the other day, and I had a sweet tooth, man. And I'm like, I saw mallow cups. When was the last time you've ever seen a mallow cup?
We don't have them.
You got them. Ryan's shaking his head no, too. It was either, so I bought a 4-pack of mallow cups. They're like, think peanut butter cups, but better. They have like a white cream filling in them, and you stick them in the freezer. Oh, they're good. But I didn't want those that day. And I found these. I hadn't seen these. They were buy one, get one over at Publix grocery store, and I was openly carrying, and nobody said anything to me. Even though they have the new regulation, they just don't deal with it around here. Could be because they knew my son worked there and they know who I am. That's possible too. But anyway, I bought some Pop-Tarts, and you can see I broke a couple of pieces off. This is a cinnamon crunch Pop-Tart. And you know what I did? I actually put it in the toaster. When I was a kid, I never toasted them. So I don't know what got into me. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and put this thing in the toaster. I mean, that's the way they're designed. Oh, man, it was good.
Speaking of crack.
That is crack, isn't it? Cinnamon flavor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crack. I've never done crack.
I wonder what would happen if a European had a Pop-Tart. What would happen to them? Would their head explode?
Well, yeah. I mean, did you see the Bill Maher expose that he did for about 6 minutes on, and it was outstanding. I have to hand it to Bill Maher. He's impressed me as of late. And he put together a deal saying, hey, because he's angry at liberals for not wanting to participate in the 250th anniversary of the nation, which he should be. Because remember, it's 250 years of America, and this expose he put together, he said, guys, people from all over the world are here for the World Cup. And they're reminding us, social media is flooded with them reminding us how great we have it here. And we take everything for granted. One guy was standing in a parking lot, and I don't know, he had some, German accent or something, and I'll just do an accent. I'll do a French accent. He goes, this is like being in a museum. And Bill Maher looks at the camera and he says, he's talking about Walmart. He was talking about a Walmart. People eating hot dogs. Going and seeing, the social media, I don't know if you've seen it, Ryan, flooded with people from all over the world going to the Bass Pros and the Cabela's and standing in front of the gun counters because they can't do that where they live. That is unique to America, and we forget this. Great reminder. Guys, just Google or whatever search engine you use, kind of just habit to say that, Bill Maher World Cup expose, and it will come up for you on YouTube. Watch it. It's outstanding. It is a huge reminder of what we have in this country. So I got to hand it to Bill Maher as of late. Yeah, he throws a little dig in here about Trump, but that's to be expected because he's a wacko. But hey, what can I say? And a good question on the Pop-Tarts. Now, I've been to Northern Europe. I don't know if they've Pop-Tarts there or not. I don't know. I know Swedish pizza is really good. It's different than ours, and it's outstanding, but I can tell you that.
I'll tell you a funny story about my interactions with some European friends. So years ago, I worked for a German company, and as part of that, I was part of an international organization setting some standards for telecommunications, and we would get together in various cities around the world. Well, one time we were the host here in the United States, and I ran to the store to get my friend some Ritz crackers, my friend from France, actually, some Ritz crackers and some Easy Cheese. It was a joke. It was a joke, but he took, in the can.
The squeeze cheese with the finger thing.
He couldn't, his French brain could not fathom the idea of cheese.
In a can.
From a can, right? So I do that. He takes it home along with the Ritz crackers, and he enjoys it with some friends and some wine, and I get this beautiful letter from him, not an email, a letter thanking me and how much he and his French friends enjoyed the Easy Cheese.
And I just picture the French folks sitting around at a little bistro cafe in Paris, right? Eating real French brie and some weird crackers with their French accents. And now I get that visual of them passing around the little craft squeeze thing with the fingertip on the Ritz crackers. But it was really fun. I watched made my family watch it the other day. It was really, really good. And my wife's first deal was, I don't want to watch Bill Maher. My son was like, I don't want to watch that guy. But then when they saw what he was, I said, no, seriously, guys, I wouldn't ask you to do it if I wasn't serious about it. Well, they know that's not true. That's why they didn't want to watch it, part of that too, because they don't know what I'm going to come up with. But it riveted. It's very good. And guys, if you haven't seen it, you should see it, because it's a reminder for all of us, particularly as we go into this weekend, what we do have here. And he says, we have free speech, they don't. We have these things, they don't. We have to fight for it, and he's right about that. We fight for free speech. We fight for our gun rights every day. So I can't say he's wrong on that count. He's just coming at it from a different angle because he thinks Trump's a tyrant and all this. But, regardless, he's constantly ragging the left for being stupid. And he's left, but he's not that left anymore. In fact, he appears almost conservatively moderate because that party has gone so far off the rails. When we come back from the break, we'll get into a little bit of this Supreme Court handing the Second Amendment foundation. Yet again, another victory this week, guys. And how did they do that? Because it's a case you likely haven't heard about, because they didn't issue a quote-unquote ruling. There's no opinion. And they didn't say why they did it. But it's, yet again, the product of that 5'5" stature, bow tie, bespectacled, amazing guy by the name of Alan Gottlieb, who, by the way, will be here on Sunday for a full hour to really take a victory lap. We'll be back with Ryan Petty. 3 more segments on a Thursday, which is really your Friday. We'll be right back. .com. Ryan Petty, welcome back in, my friend. How are you doing today?
Doing great. This has been a fantastic week for freedom and liberty, and I can't think of a better way to begin the celebration of our 250th anniversary of America than the week we've had.
It's been
delivered
remarkable.
In large part by the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
I haven't had you on the program to discuss all this yet. This is the first time we've talked about it. You and I have talked about it privately off air, probably 3, 4, 5 times a day, as late as 12 o'clock in the morning, but not on air. And guys, when you hear Ryan say that, you've heard us talk about it all week. If you've seen any of the YouTube videos I've put up, and I hope you do, it's been historic. We've never seen anything like this in our nation's history. And I'm not saying modern. I'm going back to the days of the founding, Ryan. We've not seen anything like this. The fact that we've had to get this far to get back to where we were when we were founded. I mean, think about how remarkable that is, and we're alive to witness that. What we're getting ready to talk about is yet another one. So let's go into this one real fast. We'll kind of tie everything up for you today, guys. But the Supreme Court handed the Second Amendment Foundation yet again another victory by not handing them a victory. What do I mean by that? It means they refused to grant cert to the state of Pennsylvania's seeking cert because of a Second Amendment Foundation win in the appellate courts. Which one is that? The Third Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the Second Amendment Foundation victory, guaranteeing the right to 18 to 20-year-olds to enjoy their Second Amendment right in the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania appealed, seeking cert at the Supreme Court for review. The Supreme Court said no, leaving that intact for the Third Circuit. So 18 to 20-year-olds can now carry their firearms because the Supreme Court refused to grant cert. Now, you know, when the other side claims victory because the Supreme Court didn't grant cert in a case, they like to take a victory lap. We've been very honest about that up front. Is that a victory, Ryan? Yes and no of sorts, right? We didn't get an opinion from the court that made it nationwide. But the fact they refused to grant cert means no, done. The ruling stands. So that leaves it open for us to move in other areas, does it not?
It absolutely does, as I understand it. And I think they're, again, probably patiently waiting for the right case to bring it forward and to get these circuit splits resolved once and for all. This may not have been the case that they wanted to hear. That's okay. It has the effect of restoring the rights of those folks that the Second Amendment Foundation has fought for. Those rights are now restored in that circuit. And it sets, I think it puts the other circuits on notice that if a case rises to the level, if they do grant certiorari and they do take a case, gives us a hint as to how they'll rule on this. And it's going to go the same way most of these have gone.
Yeah, I think so.
And to your point, restoring the rights that we had as American citizens at the founding of this nation.
Yeah, I'll quote Adam Kraut, the executive director of the Second Amendment Foundation. While a cert grant on this case could have meant an opportunity for the Supreme Court to take our win in the Third Circuit and apply it nationally, we are still content that our victory in this case is now permanent and final. Adults under 21 enjoy all the same constitutional rights as their older adult counterparts, and the rights protected by Second Amendment are no different. This victory serves as a major stepping stone to striking down additional unconstitutional portions of Pennsylvania state law and those like it around the country. So that goes to your point. Let me bring this to light for you, ladies and gentlemen. When Ryan talks about a circuit split, here's what I want to plant in your mind. Because everything the Second Amendment Foundation does is by design. It's not happenstance. If they can't take a case in a particular circuit, they'll move it somewhere else because the ultimate goal is to get a split which hastens the odds the Supreme Court will take the case. Now, the 18 to 20-year-olds is rising up across the country. We see it in Florida. We see it in other states. So let's assume that there's a case down the road that the Ninth Circus strikes down. Now you've got upheld in the Third Circuit and a strike in the Ninth Circuit. Now you have a natural split that the Supreme Court may look at. Now, through history, Ryan, we know even that individual circuit split might not be enough. The court wants to look at this and say, okay, are these just two outlier cases, or is this something that's happening across the country? That's why all of these individual cases, like the Florida case, for example, we'll use, because Utmeyer down there just agreed with the Fourth Circuit ruling in the state of Florida, Florida's Fourth Circuit, not the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, that said, no, 18 to 20 years is an adult. They are part of the people, the political class of the people in the United States. Banning them from carrying guns is unconstitutional. Now, that applies only in Florida. Utmeyer said, that's exactly what we wanted. We're leaving it there. So the more cases you see from groups like the Second Amendment Foundation raising this issue in other states, the Supreme Court gets to look at this and say there's a split here and a split here. And wow, there's 12 other cases coming up. Maybe we ought to take a look at this now or sooner rather than later. So all of this is by design. It's all a seed. Each one of these cases is an individual seed. And again, Alan will be here on Sunday to talk about the very seeds that he began planting, Ryan, 50 years ago. Now, you were with me in Phoenix back in February when you and I got to see Alan Gottlieb give a speech that was the single best I've ever seen him give. And that's saying a lot because I've seen him give a lot of talks. He had that room silent. He got off cue. He got off prompt. He walked over. He set his notes down. And I know his note because he called me the night before. And he had everything written to the 45 minutes. He put them aside and he walked out. He grabbed that microphone and he just talked. And the people in that room who were privileged enough to be in that room by chance or who bought a ticket to be at that AAR event got to listen to Alan Gottlieb lay out exactly how we got here in a way I've never seen him do before. I watched the man embrace himself as to who he was and who he is and what his legacy will be. Would you agree with that, Ryan? You were there.
30.
Yeah, it was really amazing to watch. And I've heard Alan speak over the years, for a number of years. I've heard him give a lot of presentations. That one was phenomenal because he walked through exactly what you just described, Mark, where the seed, you called it planting seeds. Mm-hmm. These are things that when you plant a seed, you do it deliberately, right? Because you're trying to grow something. And a lot of times we sit back and we're impatient. We want that big oak tree to be there right now, but these are things that take time. And what Alan walked us through was the fact that he was planting oak trees.
20.
That's it.
And
let me hold you off right there, Ryan. We're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll give the mic back to Ryan. I want him to finish his thought on that. It was very important, and you'll hear a little bit about it on Sunday as well. We'll be right back with Ryan Petty. 2 more segments to go, and then you can kick off your weekends just like we will. We'll be right back. Ryan Petty, welcome back. I want to hand the mic back over to you and let you wrap up that thought on Alan Gottlieb because it was important, and that was my bad as a host asking you that question when I then all knew we probably had only about 30 seconds. So take it away, brother.
Well, I mentioned him planting trees. Look, the seeds that Alan and the Second Amendment Foundation have been planting, they take a long time to germinate. They take a long time to grow. They take a long time to grow up to the point where they get to the level that, and again, we're talking about cases, right? Where they get to the point where they end up at the Supreme Court. But they're there now, and they're substantive cases. They're not just, let's bring the first case that we can think of to the Supreme Court. These are very strategically placed cases. They're very, very important, and we're having the wins that, quite frankly, we shouldn't have to have. If I'm being honest, we shouldn't have to have these cases because our elected politicians and our leaders and our legislators shouldn't be violating the Constitution of the United States. But they do, and the Supreme Court, in the wisdom of our founders, provided a check against a legislature that they knew would eventually violate the rights of American citizens. This is the check that's been a long time in coming. It's great to see it happening. I hope that we can do a better job on the front end and make the Second Amendment Foundation jobs much easier if we have a literate and educated populace that understands the gift we've been given, the gift we've been living with for 250 years. This is the greatest country in the history of the world. And we're seeing that because when Europeans come over here and they know what authoritarianism is like, they know what it is to live like under an authoritarian legislative body. They know what that feels like. when they come here and they see the freedoms that we have, they see the innovation, they see the joy that we have as Americans, they recognize it, even if half of our country at this point doesn't recognize that.
All right. Interesting. I wasn't sure how you were going to close that out. Now you've given something to me to talk about. Even though half of our country hasn't what or doesn't what? Doesn't see that?
Yeah, Mark. I mean, you look at all the polls. Half of the country doesn't like America. They don't want to be here, and they want to change it. And you know, we've had a president that wanted to fundamentally transform the United States of America.
And
the United
did.
States of America didn't need fundamental transformation. It needed a return to its historic roots.
Yeah, I would say to the comment about the half, that those people, I got to find the right way to frame this, because your response to that question took me a little bit off guard. I was expecting to hear something different because I may have misunderstood you. Yeah. They do understand. They choose to ignore, I think. I think every American knows that we have a Second Amendment. They ignore the principles with which that was given to us in the form of our Bill of Rights. They choose to ignore the why. It's not that they don't understand. Remember, and let me go back to one of my old sayings. You've heard me say this many times over the years. Ignorance, when left unattended, breeds stupidity. Because ignorance is a choice. You choose to be or remain ignorant by failing to educate yourselves. And that goes hand in hand with this statement. I respect your right not to be a gun owner. I respect the fact that you don't like guns. I had my hair cut yesterday. Young lady that cut my hair, I had a great conversation with her about it. I asked her if she carried. She did not. Her fiance does. Her fiance, or her future father-in-law, is former law enforcement, now a firearms instructor here in this area. Been begging her and her friends to take his courses because he wants them to carry. And I said, what's your aversion to it? Is it political? She goes, oh, no. I love knowing that we have guns in this house. I know when I go to bed at night that my gun's protected and my husband's guns protect this house. She says, I'm just afraid of them. And I said, that's because you just raised your hand. Go ahead, Ryan. I love being able to see you so I can respond to you. Go ahead.
Look, Mark, this is the crux of this is the governed. Sometimes mockingly I call them the Govern Me Harder coalition, right? This is the half of the country that wants somebody to tell them that they'll be safe, tell them that they'll be secure, and they want what you just said, something really important that I think the audience needs to understand. You said, I respect your right not to carry a gun. I respect your right not to be a firearms owner, right?
And just don't try to take my right from me.
They don't have that same respect. They don't share that same respect for the way you choose to live. There is half the country or more that wants to tell the other half of the country how to live. And boy, I could go on for half an hour talking about why that is, but it's jealousy and envy at the heart of it that tells you and me how we should live our lives. And we have got to get back to what the gift the founders gave us, which is that all men are free, all men are created equal in the eyes of their creator, and we get to choose what it means: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's a personal choice. It should be as free of government intervention as possible. That's where we maximize freedom. That's where we maximize safety and security. And half the country doesn't understand that.
Yeah, if either they choose, this goes right back. We're circling back. We're going to do a Jen Psaki here. We're going to circle back like Jen Psaki used to do. And that is, they either don't understand it or they choose to ignore it. And those go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. If you choose to ignore something, you won't understand it. If you don't understand it, you have an obligation when you live in a free society where you have great freedom available to you to try to understand why you don't understand it, to do something about it, to read up on it, to participate, to ask questions, not just be told what to do. And the people that you're referring to, the Govern Me Harder crowd, are lazy. They're the ones that Well, the old saying, like, somebody said to me today earlier, how you doing today? I said, working like crazy to support the lazy, okay? They choose to remain lazy because they don't want to do anything so the government can take care of them. So it's easy to see where they get that mindset. But that's on them. That's not on me. That's on them, their ignorance. And when they try to portray or project their ignorance on me, and it goes right back to what I was saying, we're going to get cut off by the break, but I want to go back here. I think it's important. The young lady that cut my hair, I had a fantastic conversation with her yesterday about this very topic relative to why she has this aversion to carrying a gun. And when we get in, we'll tie it all back together for you. It's a fascinating conversation. Ryan, I'm glad you brought it up. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one more segment to go, and then the grill will be lit at my ranch. And I don't even have a ranch. We'll be right back.
You have a...
Ryan Petty, welcome back, my brother. Always fun to have you here. I got to go back to this young lady and the conversation that we were having and this choosing to remain ignorant, which to me is a real problem in this country. When you have everything at your disposal, as much as I hate 24/7 instant access, social media, all the garbage, there is absolutely no excuse in this country today to be uninformed or misinformed. No excuse whatsoever. Would you agree with that first?
It's never been easier to get information or news.
It's that
never
simple.
been easier.
Now, what I respected about this young lady was she is aware. She does understand. She's happy there's a gun in her home. She just chooses not to carry one. Here's the difference between her and lefty, goofball, liar hypocrites. She's not attacking my right. She's glad I've made the decision to do that. It's just not the right decision for her yet. But I have a feeling with her husband and her father-in-law, that may change in the future. And so my suggestion to her, Ryan, was go to the range. Take your father-in-law's class. Let your husband work with you. Don't be afraid. Ask them to take you there. Once you begin to be comfortable with the tool itself, all of that will change for you. Then you can make an informed decision. But until then, well, right now you're choosing to remain ignorant because you have not yet taken that step. And that, too, is your right if that's what you want to do. It's a beautiful part about being free. But it's my responsibility to at least try to fix some people that might be just not necessarily broken, but cracked, right?
That's the right thing to do. I call it the church of the range, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you taken somebody that says they're afraid of guns or don't like guns or don't want to be around guns to the range and absolutely 180-degree different mindset when they get done? Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
This is great. I could see myself doing this every weekend. It's amazing. It's like taking them to church.
Not one time over all of these years has someone said to me, that sucked, I never want to do that again. No one has ever never said that to me. Not one time. And guys, just for fun, let me pull something up here for you. Ryan, I don't think you know this. Greg, I don't think you know this. So, guys, we're going to give it to you at the same time. And I want to find this. And I didn't think I was going to bring this up right now, but then it dawned on me, well, why wouldn't I bring it up right now? It's what we do for a living. And Ryan, we have some new affiliates here for the daytime show. And I think what I'm going to do is mention some of those new affiliates. Now, one of them is kind of fun for me, and that is WAAM, WHAM AAM, 1660, Ann Arbor, Michigan. The 14th market in the country. Now, I spent my very formative years between 9 and 15 years old. There's a lot of firsts in your life in that age group right there, okay, ladies and gentlemen? You've been 9 to 15. You know what I'm talking about. 9 to 15 years old, and I have great
30.
affinity for that area of the country. That's Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's WHAM, AM, and FM, WDDQ, FM, 92.1, Adel, Georgia. Adel, Georgia, right down the road from us. That's near the Albany area, WJHC, FM, 107.5 in Jasper, Florida, Ryan. That's in the Tallahassee market down there. WSFB, AM, Quitman, Georgia. That's also around Valdosta, Tallahassee, down south, near the border, and that's also WSFB FM. So
60.
some new affiliates. The show keeps growing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sad to say that we are no longer on KSBN AM in Spokane, Washington, because they have new owners. And that happens sometimes when new owners. We've never, ever lost an affiliate in 18 years because of something I've said or something they didn't like, which shocks my mother. It's only been because of format flips, right? Format flips, station moves from talk to news or from news to country music or something, which is what happened in Denver.
30.
But yeah, we're proud of that. We've got a lot of new affiliates. The shows continue to grow. Ryan Petty, real quick, we've only got 20 seconds. The left will never what?
Stop.
20.
Take that to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Petty, I love you. I'll call you after the show. Greg in Dallas, Texas, we're going to call it. Tomorrow's a Friday. We're rerunning the hour from Sunday with Jared Yanis because he's such a huge draw. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your 4th. Celebrate. Grill hard. Make the drinks a little bit colder. You have a lot to celebrate for. We'll see you on Sunday.
You just filled your prescription.
Ryan, you're still on the line with us here? We're still up live? Can he hear us? No? Can you bring him back by any chance?
Only through the lumberyard.
Is he good? Can you hear me?
He's not. I don't think he's on the Opal anymore.
No? He might not be. I can see. Well, he's listening to the music, so.
You can only hear each other on StreamYard. You can't hear each other through the Opal or through my board.
Okay, gotcha. So that's what's coming through here. Okay, guys, tried to keep wanted to have a conversation with Ryan real quick. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I just want to tell you I love each and every one of you. You have a ton to celebrate. It has been just a historic month, and it's going to get better. The other side doesn't know what to do. They're chasing their tails. Are you tired of winning yet? I'm not. And we're going to win even harder coming up over the course of the next 12 months. We're not even going to have to wait 12 months. That's just going to be the icing on the cake. Guys, enjoy your 4th of July. Celebrate this nation's 250 years and do it hard and do it loud. That's what I'm getting ready to do. You do the same thing. Stay safe out there, guys. I love you. I'll see you on the radio on Sunday's Monstercast. Enjoy Jared Yanis from Sunday. If you missed him, don't miss tomorrow's show. It was fantastic. Thanks, guys. I'll see you live on Sunday. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Grill hard.